All right, Coach. Well, you talked a little bit about after the game about what a special opportunity it is to play Memphis. Can you just or Memphis Navy? Going up there to play Service Academy. Is that just a special chance for you guys as a program to play a school like that?
Yeah, I think it's an honor, right? And just for going to play somebody that's taken the obligation of serving this country is such a neat deal for us as a program to go against the history in this place, and to just to watch film this week with them in Ireland against Notre Dame. I mean, I think there's so many cool aspects that go into this game. Just for me personally too, and for our staff, just to be able to experience that. And I think that just the respect that I have for them as a program, and the respect for what these guys do as student athletes. I think they have so much more on their plate than what most student athletes do. And so I think it's neat. I mean, I think you see it on tape. I mean, the intensity they play with, the discipline, the eye discipline, is something that we're going to have to match this whole entire game. Can't get caught up in everything going on with everybody there in uniform and all those things. I mean, it'll be a neat experience for us. But we got to go out and execute, get a week better. We're going to have to tackle extremely well. Play with our eyes and read our keys on the defensive side of the ball. And then I think on offense, they're aggressive, the most aggressive defense that we've faced so far. And so they want to apply pressure on that side of the ball. And so it'll be really important for us, just communication, for us to get in and out of the right plays, I think will be important for us. And for us to handle that pressure will be key. And then on special teams, we haven't been bad on special teams this year. We've been good at transitioning balls, all those things, but we haven't quite just made a play in a game that changes a play special teams wise. So that'll be a focus. I mean, for us to go out and we had a couple opportunities last week, and we had an opportunity on a kick return. We have one guy that gets a holding. We get an opportunity, close to blocking a punt early in the game, and so we got to have somebody step up and make a play for us.
Does Kalon give you that opportunity? I mean, he had some big plays last year on special teams. You guys need to get him going a little bit.
Yes. Yeah, we need to get Kalon going for sure.
All right, so it's the first game in the first conference game this season. Just how much of an opportunity is it to kind of get started on the right foot in this conference?
Yeah, I mean, I just think with where we're at as a team, as a program, as I talked about, after the game of us building this foundation for the future. I mean, there's still a lot of youth on this team at a lot of different spots. But yeah, I mean, I think just as you move into the American, these games obviously mean something for us working towards our goal of being a conference champion. But I think just for us buying into getting 1 week better, for us buying into the details, the little things, and doing the right things on and off the field, I think has really shown up the last 2 weeks. And then too, it's going to be a big week that we're going to emphasize finishing, and that's something I don't think that we've done particularly well. Even in the 2 last wins, I didn't think we finished well at La Tech, and didn't think we finished well last week as well. And so big emphasis for us. I mean, it's going to take 60 minutes of good football. Us protecting the football. That's one bright spot, I think, for the last couple of weeks. I think Chandler's done a fantastic job of protecting the football. I think the running backs have had great ball security, and so we got to continue that, build off the things we're doing, and then continue to grow and get a week better, and continue to do the little things right. And because when you play against an offense like this, I mean, one missed key, one misread, they'll turn those things into some yardage in a hurry. And so they've been good getting the ball in the perimeter all year long, and so we have to take that challenge, and we got to accept it and go out there and make sure that we're reading our keys and getting these guys on the ground. Strong group. I mean, I think this group, I don't know who their strength coach is, does a fantastic job though. I mean, they're really built well, and I think strong, and that shows up in a lot of different ways on tape.
You mentioned it a little bit there, but what makes the triple option so hard to defend?
Because there's 3 different options every play. I think that you got to be able to cover all 3 of them, and they do it in a variety of different ways and have some cool shifts and formations, and sometimes they're in guns, sometimes they're under, and so just a lot of communication. And I think it was good for the defense to see last week. There was 3 or 4 plays where they motioned. We had perfect execution and communication on the back end, and they were all negative plays for Abilene. And then there's a couple there where we didn't, and the communication was bad. So I think this offense just it makes you have to cover the whole entire field. It makes you cover every person on the field, and including the quarterback. And so yeah, and it's just so much different than what we practice against, so much different than what we face. And you gear up that 1 week, and so we spent some time in the off season studying, kind of what they do, what they want to, part of the fields they want to attack. But yeah, I think they try to make you wrong by so much different dressings of the play, and there's so much eye candy in it that we're gonna have to be disciplined.
This is you guys' first game in the American. Now that you've seen some of these teams play over the course of the last few weeks, what's your impression of what this league will be like as you enter into the league?
Yeah, and too, I don't have a huge sample size. I think we've been, in the moment here of really, watching film and evaluating who we're playing that week. So I haven't spent a ton of time just on the American yet. I think as we dive into it, now's the time that you're going to see a ton of crossover film. And I think that's where you really start judging your own conference. So to be honest with you, I don't know yet. As this season goes and it progresses and now we're into conference play, I think that's where, you really get a good feel of what people are good at, what they're trying to attack, how they're trying to attack it. And so that's where I think crossover film's so important, and we'll really start seeing that kind of going forward the next couple of weeks.
But just in its entirety, do you think this is going to be a strong league this year?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you look at it on paper and you've been able to see, Memphis pull out a ton of gritty wins. You see UCF's gotten a lot better. Tulsa had a great win the other night that saw a little bit of on a Thursday night against Temple. Tulane is Tulane. They're the ones kind of at the top right now, in my opinion, that everybody's chasing. I think everybody's familiar with UTSA and what they've been able to accomplish so far, and once they get their quarterback back, Rice has been a surprising one. I think Rice is really come out ready to play this year. Getting a win versus Houston. Can't remember. I played in it a couple of times. Anybody remember what they played for?
Bayou Bucket.
Bayou Bucket, yeah, nice. That's a piece of history right there. But I played in the Bayou Bucket when I was at Houston for 2 years. For them, that's a game that Houston gets up for, and then to watch the way they're winning in all different ways. It's a tough team. So, yeah, I think everybody knew going into this thing, that our schedule looked like it was backloaded. But you look at it, there's not going to be an easy conference game where you just feel great about it. We're going to have to continue to grind this thing out and work on the things that we're insufficient at and continue to get better.
What challenges does present on the defensive side of the ball with them being most aggressive group?
Yeah, I think just they want to pressure you, and so they're gonna do that. I think that that they've really been able to get after some quarterbacks this year and get some shot on some quarterbacks. I think that's their brand, that's their style, and Coach Newberry being the defensive coordinator there before he got the head coaching job, now their linebackers coach, the defensive coordinator. So he's changed the little things up here and there, but I think they're going to come zero blitz us more than any other team, and so they're going to bring more than what we can account for in protection. And it's going to be super important, that we're able to get the ball out on the perimeter, that we're able to block on the perimeter, and able to do some things good in the run game. And I think it's one of those games where it keeps the offensive line coach up all night long, just because there's so many different looks and pressures that they do want to bring, that they're finding different ways to block it. And so for us, we're going to have to let our playmakers make some plays, down the field at some point and come up. We've been pretty good pushing the ball down the field. And so that'll be a huge matchup, I think, to watch as this game progresses.
What do you guys need to do to improve your run defense as you head into a game against a team that kind of hangs their hat on running the ball?
Yeah, I just think, and holistically, there's a bunch of things that go into that, but I think everybody doing their job is the most important piece to it, and especially that's going to be emphasized more this week, right? And everybody's heard it, who's got the dive, who's got the cue, who's got the pitch, all the different things that the triple option presents to you. And so so that'll show up. I think that once you don't cover one of those bases, then this style of offense is it's going to pop on you, and it's going to go for a long ways. And so yeah, I think it'll be it'll show up more in this game. I think sometimes you can cover some things up. A guy pops a gap, and a linebacker's there to make a play, so on and so forth. Just how fast it hits is something that'll be different for our guys. And so, and then we have to be aggressive. I mean, we're going to have to tackle people in space. I think, I talked a little bit about the strength of these guys. It shows up in their punt returner. Has I think he's first or second in the nation in punt returning average right now. And he's not the fastest guy in the world, but he just breaks a ton of tackles. He has great short area quickness. And so, yeah, I think, it's going to be a huge challenge for us. But for us to be able to, gang tackle, read our keys, get these guys on the ground, is going to be something that's huge. I mean, we can't bounce off of them or they'll make us look silly.
Is this one of those games you have to maybe change what you're doing defensively, schematically, to try to give yourselves a better chance in matching up?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different from what we do, the last 4 weeks, and I think the problems present different, but it's still, defensive football is defensive football. I mean, you got to be gap sound. You got to be able to come down, read your keys, and make tackles when they present yourself to it. So yeah, it's a different style of offense. So there's no doubt. So I think that's going to be a little bit different. We're not going to change, our whole entire defense and change what we do schematically. I mean, you'll see some 4 down, you'll see some 3 down, you'll see some, run stopping blitzes. I mean, you'll see all the different stuff that we have. And but at the same point, I mean, it's going to be key that we get these guys on the ground and especially in space.
Offense is coming in having scored 85 points in the last 2 games. Is the offense kind of getting where you want it to be?
No, I mean, should have been more. I mean, still a lot of squandered opportunities, and when we're good, but still just, I mean, I thought we squandered some stuff last week and we're able to go on some good drives. And we talked about, after the game a little bit, some mental toughness and for us to be able to finish. I mean, there's some huge evidence of that on tape of guys just not doing their job. And I think, as we get success, like we have to learn how to handle success. And some people don't know how to do it yet. And so, I think, we present that to them in some good ball / bad ball on Mondays when we review the past game is, it's just one person not doing their job and it being a touchdown play, and then the next time we run the same play and the guy doesn't, and it's a negative 1 yard play. And so we got to continue to get tougher and be able to have some kind of killer instinct. And so yeah, I mean, it's getting better. We're not turning the ball over. There's a bunch of positives. We've been able to push the ball down the field, and some of these wideouts are making some plays down the field. Io's been great. Oscar's been great. And so I think, there's a lot of pieces to work with there. And so got to continue to build on those things. And we're not where we can be yet.
Is this one of those games where you just have to avoid making the big mistake, considering you're going to have limited possessions?
Yeah, I mean, that's the style they want to play, right? And they want to, bleed the clock out. And so I think 2 terribly different styles of ball and how you want to win the game. And so for us, I think, first down is going to be so important in this game on both sides of the ball, just for the fact of them being able to stay on schedule and as play callers on both sides. I mean, we've been exceptional on 3rd and 5 or less this year, and when you go over 3rd and 7 plus, our numbers go way down, and we have to do a great job on first down to keep us on schedule. When it allows us to play fast, play with some tempo, get some people out of position. And then same thing when you look at us on the defensive side and you look at our stop charts. I mean, when we're good on first down, and we're able to dictate and put them in some 3rd and long situations with this defense, that's what you want to be in. And so, it was good to see last week. We had a lot of youth out there in the back end, but good to see, Evan Jackson make some plays, Taylor Starlin make some plays. And so, we're definitely, building a plethora of guys back there. But I think, first down efficiency is something that we'll look at the end of this game, and I think it'll be a huge telltale of how it turns out.
You stated earlier this year that some guys weren't really buying into the program that you wanted it to. How have you seen that improve the past few games and kind of going into this week?
Yeah, it's been night and day. I mean, I think, and part of that, was probably my fault. and not being able to, really instill some things that I believe in. And so I put all that fault on me. And so I think just as the leader of this program, you've seen, and you've seen a couple that don't want to buy in, and you're not going to see them on the field. So the guys that you see on the field that are participating and playing at a high level out there are the guys that are bought in and are doing, all the little things right and preparing the right way to go out there and win a game. And so it's going to take time, and to get us exactly where we need it to be holistically. But, holistically speaking the last 2 weeks, have been just fantastic.
Got Aya more involved the last couple of games. Have you found something with him over the last few weeks that's enabled him to go for 100 yards over these last couple of games?
Yeah, I think it's just a collection of, our O-line's been better. I think that he's definitely super explosive. And anytime we're able to get him seams, I think you see the explosiveness happen. And he's been able to turn some of these, 5 and 6 yard runs into, 30 and 40 yard runs has been, a lot of fun just to see the explosion that he has. And those explosive plays on runs are huge for this offense. I think also that Chandler's done a great job of getting us into some of those run calls. And so, I think it's everybody kind of doing their job and it coming together as far as Chandler understanding more and more as we go what looks we need to get these run calls into, changing the run calls, flipping them one side to the other side. I think Fabechi going inside was a huge deal for us to help out with things. So I think it's a combination of 3 or 4 things, but he's been great, obviously, and it's been good. He's something I wasn't really confident in his pass catching ability early on, but it's been nice to see him, take some of these swing passes and get us 13, 14 yards on a simple swing pass. So he's a guy that we continue to want to find ways to get him the ball in space.
This weekend kind of offers an opportunity to get above 500 in terms of record. Just what is the difference for mindset between playing winning football and playing losing football?
Yeah, I don't think nobody's really focused on being having a winning record right now. I think everybody's so focused on us and us getting a week better, and that's coaches and players included. And so obviously, just you put so much time and effort into this, and winning feels exceptionally well, right? And for us to continue to win, we have to continue to prepare and pay attention to the details. And I think, in today's society, it's easy to lose sight of that. And just with where we're at as a program, as a team, we have to get over the hump. We're not even close yet and you see that. Once we get over the hump, then these last 2 games, are 4 and 5 touchdown games, and our starters aren't playing in the fourth quarter. And so, we're nowhere close to where we want to be. Winning feels good. It's fun to celebrate. It's fun to watch these kids' faces and expressions and dance and have a good time after they put in all the work. And then, hey, look, it works, and we're winning football games. So there's definitely, there's levels to it. We're not at the top level, not anywhere close. We're continuing to scratch and claw and fight our way to kind of, get out of what was in our way before.
Kevin's come on here in the last couple of weeks. What have you seen from him after his off season?
Who is it?
Kevin Wood.
Yeah, I think Kevin obviously has had a string of injuries here, that have set his career back, and just the mental toughness that he has is incredible. I think, for a guy that's been set back almost every year, the injuries that he's gone through, to really stay mentally in tune to the rehab, to the process of getting back. Just was having a fantastic camp for us in spring, and suffered the lower leg injury, to be able to have surgery, to stay on track, to really be able to get his body back ready to go in the amount of time just shows what kind of toughness he has. And I think too, it's probably instilled in him because both of his parents both were academy people, and he was raised the right way, and he's somebody that's been held accountable his whole entire life. And so he has great parents. When they come to the games, always a pleasure to talk to them pregame, in the hotel and things. But yeah, I think I mean, Kevin's a guy mentally you wish you had, 100 guys just like Kevin.
And I wanted to ask you a little bit about Bryce Linder as well as we wrap up here. It seems like he's come on of late. Why do you think he's been so much better here as you get further into the season?
Yeah, similar, to Kevin is Bryce, was banged up at the end of spring in the spring game and wasn't able to participate fully in our summer workout stuff. And then, finally got back healthy later during fall camp. And so I think just the reps and feeling right with his body, I mean, it's something that was huge for Bryce. And so he's slowly worked himself back into it. And somebody that will continue to rely on the back end to be a piece to shuffle in there, and so and he's far from perfect. I mean, he's got to continue to get better as well, but I think he's finally feeling comfortable, with how his body feels right now, and I think you're able to see that showing up on tape.
All right, Kevin, you guys seem to be on a bit of a roll here going into the Navy game. How much has that helped you guys over the last couple of weeks just to get that winning feeling going?
It's helped us a lot. Obviously it's always good to have that momentum. Going into conference play, we didn't start the season too hot the way we wanted to. Just to be able to pick up those 2 wins in such a critical time really propel us this next part of the season.
How have the vibes kind of changed in the locker room after losing 2 straight and then winning 2 straight?
Obviously when you lose, it's never a good feeling. Guys are kind of down. You have those moments where it's hard to really buy in, and I think just winning and, everybody's starting to do the right things. Everybody's really bought in. We're doing all the little things right, which is really important to have success, and just been a whole turnaround as a whole.
Going into conference play here, new conference, are you guys excited about that, going into a new league?
Yeah, of course. It's a great opportunity for us, this university, and just everybody involved, to showcase what we're doing out here in Denton, Texas, and hopefully we can go out there and kick it off the right way.
Facing the triple option this week, just what kind of things do you look for to kind of, tackle?
Well, it's just mainly just being disciplined in your assignment, you know what I mean? And like you said, tackle. You have to tackle and be disciplined. You cannot get your eyes in the wrong place with this team. They're really good at what they do. We obviously got to be really disciplined in what we do.
We'll focus on trying to stop the run. How do you stay disciplined in watching for pass
The pass, just every guy doing their job. Some guys were more keen into the run, some guys are keen into the pass. Everybody has to do their job. If all 11 out there do what they're supposed to do, then we'll be fine.
Of course, you're playing Navy. I mean, that seems like is that a special game for you, playing Navy, considering I think both your parents served?
Yeah, both my parents were in the Navy. My mom did 20 years. She retired. My dad did 8. So, it's special for me and, special for this team and this university, to play such a prestigious school such as Navy. You know what I mean? They have a rich culture, rich history, and, it's really going to be a cool experience just to be out there and be with those guys.
Did they go to the academy?
They did not go to the academy. No, this is their first time going there, actually.
So when you were growing up, were you guys Navy people, watch Navy?
Well, my mom is a big Navy fan. Growing up, at least. My dad is actually from Michigan, so he's a huge Michigan fan. But yeah, they love the Navy. My mom loves the Navy. My dad loves the Navy. So, we'll be rooting against them this weekend, though.
Did they tell you a lot about being in the Navy when you were growing up?
A little bit, kind of a little bit. Just it's a hard thing to do. It teaches you a lot of life skills and stuff like that. So it kind of helped them get to where they are now. So that type of thing. So they credit a lot of what they have learned to the Navy and the military.
Did they ever talk to you about potentially going in and serving?
Yeah, I've had those conversations growing up. More from my mom. She did 20 years, so she was in it a lot longer than my dad, and so she really wanted me to know that was an option that she would support fully for me. You know what I mean? And my dad, he was open to that, but he also wanted me to, kind of see where else I would fit in outside of that.
What's been the issue, defending the run for you guys this year? It seems like it's been kind of a struggle.
It's just like I said, the little things. Everybody involved. Just not really locking into what we're supposed to do, and it's just a team effort. We all got to run to the ball. We got to rally, and it's not perfect. We got to be able to make each other right when somebody's not in their gap. And just be able to come back from the mistakes that we have. You know what I mean?
Defenses coming into a conference play ranked to last in team defense in the country. Just what do you need to do going into your first season in the American to kind of turn it around?
Just go out there and play our game. You know, we can't really get caught up in the rankings and that type of thing because at the end of the day, that really doesn't matter to us. You know what I mean? Every Saturday is a new Saturday. You know, we have a new opportunity to go out there and compete and, you know, show the world that, you know, we can be a really good defense, which I believe we are.
Of course, this is the first game against Navy since that epic game back in the day. Have you guys have some of the older guys or guys who have come back ever talked about that 74-62 game to you?
No, I actually have not heard. That was the first time I actually heard about it, to be honest.
It was crazy.
Yeah, I might have to look into that.
One of the highest scoring games in college football history. And I want to ask you a little bit about Bryce Linder. He's come on here a little bit later in the season and has started to make a contribution to you guys. What has he provided this defense now he's playing more?
You know, he's just a great tackler, man. He's a great tackler in open space, and you know, he's a smart guy. He's willing to put his body in line, and you know, he just works really hard. You know, obviously, he kind of got a little banged up at the end of fall camp, or maybe it was a spring. It was a spring. He got a little banged up, and you know, he just worked hard from that, came back, and you know, he's just a great leader, a person to be around, great teammate. You know, he just brings good vibes to the whole defense and the whole team.
Then after your injury in spring, are you starting to feel like you're back at 100%?
Yeah, I'm getting there. You know, it's a day-by-day process, obviously, but you know, I feel like I'm starting to finally get in stride and finally feel like myself again when I'm out there.
The team announced the partnering with Kaminsky Scope. Can you talk about what that offers student athletes?
You know, it just offers a way for us to kind of feel like it's okay for us to reach out when stuff isn't necessarily going the right way with us mentally. You know, obviously this is a hard thing that we do, you know, being student athletes, and you know, it's not always sunshine and rainbows. You know what I mean? We have tough days, we have times where we really need help, and you know, that organization, you know, they really make it known that you can have outlets, you can have people you can go to really get the help that you need.
One other person I wanted to ask you about was Patrick Smith.
Mm-hmm.
He was a guy that didn't play a lot until this year. Now he's playing a little bit more. What have you seen from him as far as developing and helping your guys' defense?
He's just been a student of the game. You know what I mean? He's grown so much since he first got on campus last year. You know, he's got stronger, bigger, faster. You know, he's just learning the ins and outs of the games, you know, the speed of the game. You know, he's becoming a really good tackler. You know, he's always in the film room studying, trying to get better. He's always asking questions, you know what I mean? So, you know, I've just seen him grow as a person, grow as a player, and it's been really cool.
All right, Chandler, it seems like you guys have, you know, kind of found it here a little bit the last couple of weeks. Do you just feel good about where you guys are at heading into this game?
Definitely feeling good because we're moving forward in the way that we want to, but we still left a lot on the table. So we're really focusing on that. You know, in the red zone, we had field goal opportunities there, which, you know, and our standard is just finish with touchdowns. So making sure we get that done and playing well in all three phases.
How far you guys come offensively in the last couple of weeks?
We've grown a lot. Early on, we had a turnover problem where there was interceptions, fumbles, miscues, communication-wise, and just making sure they were locked in through walkthroughs and meetings, and as well as practice, because just making sure we do the little things right and everything else take care of itself.
Kind of mentioned it a little bit there, but what kind of mentally has changed from the slow start to the last two wins?
Everybody is getting comfortable in the system. Everybody is really playing fast within the system. Our coach is doing a really great job of putting us in positions to be successful. And if it isn't the best play call, we also make it work, and I have the ability to check every play. So just putting us in the best position is really what's making us really operate well.
It seems like you're feeling more comfortable out there. Is that the case, and why is that?
It is because you just, like I stated last time, just after the FIU game, it was just refreshing, just going out there and playing a really great football. Unfortunately, we didn't get the win, but just getting my confidence back, like I can still do this, that I've been doing for the past couple of years.
Facing one of the most aggressive defenses you faced this year, what challenges does Navy present on the defense?
Like you said, they're very, very aggressive. I mean, they're not scared to send the house at all. They'll play cover zero. They'll also mix in with a little zone coverage. And the thing with playing these Navy, these military academy schools, they're very disciplined. So making sure that we're operating at a high level, you know, limiting mistakes, because those schools, they really harp on discipline, and the mistakes they make is really not going to happen.
The offense has been able to get off to hot starts recently. How important is it to get off to another hot start against a really tough Navy defense?
Especially with their defense, how aggressive they are, making sure we're scoring every opportunity we have, especially with the offense that they run. They just chew so much clock up, and it'll put a lot of stress on our defense if we don't operate and score.
Yeah, because there's just not a lot of room for error in a game like this. It is one of those games where a turnover can really kill you.
Yeah, that's true. Just making sure we don't shoot ourselves in the foot, operating at a high level, scoring touchdowns, not field goals, because we could score a field goal and they could very well go down and score 6 points and also waste 10 minutes on the clock. And that'll put us in a bad position in the offense. So making sure we have touchdowns and not field goals.
Obviously, this is a weekend with a lot of anticipation, first game in the American Athletic Conference. Just kind of how do you keep your nerves down a little bit and just focus on what's ahead?
I really don't look at the conference, really. I'm just focused on Navy. That's really what's most important, because that's the task at hand. It's a great opportunity to go into this conference and take the right step forward. Establishing ourselves within this conference, like, hey, we're really real. We can play with anybody in this conference, and that's what we plan to do.
What is it that you mentioned that they're super aggressive? What is it they do so well defensively?
I feel like they play very well as a defense. They have a defensive-minded coach. The defensive coordinator is very aggressive, so they're going to hit very well. They tackle very well. They're very active. They're not scared at all to blitz. I mean, any given down and distance, they can blitz and send the house. So just making sure that we're operating at a high level, having the right play call, making sure we're in the right protections, things like that is very important for us.
You guys have gotten the running game going the last couple of weeks with your running backs. You know, Io's gone for over 100 yards the last couple of weeks. How much has that helped your guys' offense to have that balance with the way the running game is played?
It's helped tremendously. We have a great stable of running backs. So, I mean, any one of them can go for 100 yards. I mean, it could be a game where both of them go for 100 yards. With having the run game, it just makes the passing game so much easier, because if you try to blitz, you can very well leave a gap open there going to the house. And it also opens the passing game, especially with play actions, things like that. So it really puts stress on the defense that you have to play honestly.
You got 2 starts under your belt here now. Just how has that kind of lifted your confidence heading into conference play?
I'm very confident right now. I feel like I'm operating at a high level. There's things that I can definitely clean up. Just being more efficient, especially with playing Navy this week. Definitely being efficient, winning first downs, things like that. I know I can do this. I know I can play at a very high level. So just going out there repeatedly and doing it over and over, it just only increases my confidence.